YouTube, this is Darkon633, and today we're taking a look at the Star Wars 6-inch Black Series Grand Moff Tarkin. Now, ever since Tarkin was announced, this is actually my most anticipated release in the 6-inch Black Series scale in the Han Solo line, and it's probably, in the end, my most favorite Black Series, maybe not of all time, but one of my most favorites overall. So anyways, we're going to take a look at the presentation and contents first. As usual, we're going to start with the box. The box in your standard 6-inch Black Series scale is a picture of Grand Moff Tarkin there. It has the number here, which is 63, and it has a bio on the back here as usual. So that's actually pretty cool so far what we've gotten. It's nothing too different though. In terms of the overall figure, you only get the interrogation droid and Grand Moff Tarkin. There isn't any other weapons in the set, which is okay since he wasn't a fighter per se. Although he did have a few moments in the Clone Wars, obviously this isn't the version of him seen in the Clone Wars. So overall, in terms of presentation and content, it's pretty much what to expect, although the interrogation droid is actually very nice, and we're going to take a look at it more closely in a minute. So overall, I give this a 5 out of 5 just because they did a fantastic job with releasing this figure to begin with. And now we'll move on to features. So, as mentioned earlier, he does not include any weapons, although he does maintain the same articulation as we've seen with 6-inch Black Series figures. But what kind of puts him apart from the others is that it does have the face print technology for Grand Moff Tarkin here, and while it's not 100% perfect, this is probably the best likeness of the late Peter Cushing we've ever gotten in any Hasbro Star Wars release, and I'm very happy that they finally released a version of him that looks quite like the character. In terms of articulation, as I mentioned earlier, the head is on a standard ball joint with no hindrance. He does maintain the same joints at the shoulders, same hinge joints, swivel hinge I mean, at the elbows. He does maintain the swivel hinge at the wrists. The same abdomen joint with very, very good movement. There isn't anything hindering it, but it's nice that it's very tight on my copy. He does have outward hip movement. Forward movement, although the piece very similar to some of the other Imperial-styled characters, get in the way a bit, but not by a whole lot. He does have swivels at the thighs, double joints at the knees, and fully jointed ankles. So you pretty much get what you need in terms of articulation right there. Next, we're going to take a look at the interrogation droid, which I'm actually quite impressed with as well. In terms of articulation, it doesn't have anything, since all these little tools and gadgets are soft rubbery plastic molded onto the design. However, the interrogation droid does have a ball joint, which allows it to move quite a bit. And from what I could tell, I think it is removable. Yeah, okay, so it is removable from the base, although I don't really see a purpose of it not on the base. But other than that, that's pretty much in terms of features what you get with this figure. So, because Hasbro did a fantastic job in the overall sculpting, especially with the face print technology on this figure, I give this a 5 out of 5, even if he doesn't have any weapons overall. In terms of overall value, it's still in the standard $20 price range, and if you get it for around that price, it's definitely worth it. It's always better to get it on sale, but this is the kind of figure that I think is definitely worth the full retail price, but definitely not so much above it, per se. Although probably going with BBTS price if you're not able to get it in stores is still okay, since it really is a very nice figure, and I think Hasbro did a fantastic job overall in designing this version of Grand Moff Tarkin. So here's a comparison of Grand Moff Tarkin next to several other Imperial characters. I think they look very nice together, and they are very similar molded. Obviously, we do have the actual rank insignias badges on the 3 different versions of the characters, but the overall design is pretty close, and it is supposed to be an Imperial design to begin with. So overall, I think they look really nice together, and it definitely helps with displays if you wanted to use the other characters. In conclusion, Grand Moff Tarkin is definitely a worthwhile figure to get a hold of, especially if you're a fan of the character in general. I think Hasbro once again did a fantastic job of releasing this figure, and it's really nice that we finally got a new version of Grand Moff Tarkin after all these years. It would have been nice if they released it sooner, but because they waited long enough and able to use the face prick technology, it was definitely worth the wait, since they did a fantastic job with the overall sculpting and paint schemes that we've seen on this figure. I got this figure actually early on Amazon, but I actually decided to do the review just a little bit later since the Solo line has finally actually gotten on stores by the time this review goes up. Anyways, please comment, rate, and subscribe, and check out Hero Club and Hero Taku. Also check your Twitter, Darkon633, and check me on Instagram under Darkon633 as well. Please check the little bell at the bottom of the screen in order to see my content go up as soon as possible, and I'll be back with more Star Wars reviews, but for now, I'll be seeing you on YouTube. Bye.